let's go back at you with yet another episode of Two Plant-Based Brothers. I am William the teacher, and this is my brother.
Daniel Nowotnik. What's up?
Not much, not much. Summertime. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. Got into Fourth of July and
Yeah.
cookouts, but what I wanted to focus on this week, if it's all right with you, and
Hmm.
because when this gets released, there's a good chance that I'm going to be in the great outdoors.
Yes.
That we talk about the great outdoors, not necessarily the movie starring John Candy and Dan Aykroyd,
Great film.
but one of the places I would like to talk about is the filming location of said movie. So that's something I'd like to get into. But talking about getting outside and camping, what do you think, Daniel?
I think that's a great idea because I would want to I think it's a good safe bet that 80% of our listeners, followers, are going to be camping with us in the next week or so. So,
I don't know. I think we're up to 35. I think that's up
okay.
one. We gained somebody along the
Yeah.
way.
Well,
So number
those people are
35, thank
invited
you.
to Bass Lake, California as well
Yeah.
if they want to hit us up.
And you want to hear something crazy?
Yes, tell me.
So my youngest daughter has a boyfriend,
Hmm.
pretty
Yeah.
recent,
Mhm.
and his family goes camping at
Uh-huh.
Bass Lake.
No way. Bass Lake?
Bass Lake.
When she was like doing criteria, and maybe she met him online. I don't think she had, but let's say she met him online, and that was like one of the things like on the checkbox. Have you camped at Bass Lake for
I don't think it was.
compatibility?
I just think it's pretty crazy. And according to him, his family tends to go around the week after Fourth of July.
Wow,
Could you
crazy.
imagine?
No, is he going to be
Like
there this year?
she could have just been kayaking, and then he could have been out swimming, and she could have, just hit him with a oar or something.
Or he could have been on a speedboat and like went by her and like a
Yeah, I
big
don't know if they're a
wave tipped her
speedboat
over,
family, but maybe I don't know if he's a suck my weight kind of guy. Nice kid.
which is a great quote from the Great Outdoors movie.
Yeah,
Suck
from the
my
great actor.
weight.
So when it comes to camping, we've been doing this for a long time. Um, Tend to only camp one place. Only recently, as we've talked about on our adventures, when you and I have gone out,
Yep.
hiking
Yep.
and doing a 2 day hike, or camping the night before and then hiking with all of our gear, right? Have I
Yeah.
ventured out to different places? But I know you've done extensive camping trips, Daniel.
Yeah.
Something that you and your children have done for a long time,
Mhm.
even probably pre-Lennon. I mean, just
Yes.
starting with Dylan. So tell us some of your favorite places, anything that you don't have to make a list of top five, but some really cool places that you think of camp
Hmm.
worthy besides the filming location of the great outdoors, Bass Lake, California.
Well, I'll say this: we have done extensive camping, and most of our camping has been in the southwest or western states of the United States, primarily California. So we've camped up and down the coast, California. We've done beach camping. We've done whatever you call what's the Sierra Nevadas, right? And then we've also done camping in Utah. We've been as north as Yellowstone National Park, where we camped with mom and dad, actually, and that was when Dylan was should have been like 3.5, 4, almost 4 years old, and then Lennon would have been a baby. And
Yeah.
so we camped with him up there. And so yeah, we've kind of done it all, but it's mostly tent camping. So I'll tell everybody here with the family, it's going to be tent camping in a campground of some sort. We've also done a trailer where we've done that from time to time. And for us, when we're looking for campsites, it's between state parks, national parks, regional parks, you name it, private campgrounds. We've kind of done it all. But we love being outdoors, and our kids especially love it too. It's been a lot of fun, and it's kind of like a family tradition. So every year, the last couple of years we haven't done much just because I was recovering from cancer last year, so we've kind of put a lot of that on pause for obvious reasons. But I'm really looking forward to going up to Bass Lake this year, and getting back outside. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So let me ask you, because I recall specifically Lennon when he was a brand new baby. I would say maybe I'm wrong, but did you take him camping when he was 4 months old?
Yeah, we took him when we took him to Bass
Four
Lake.
or 5 months old?
Yeah, during COVID, right? It would have
Yeah.
been that July, so I guess about 5 months old, right? So yeah, he was a very young little guy. And when we took Dylan, she would have been less than a year too, her first year. camping. We took her somewhere just before Bass Lake and then Bass Lake to
Mhm.
it. It's funny, like she was miserable the first time around as a little baby, and my wife was like, "Oh no, she doesn't like camping." I was like, "No, it's too early." I was like, "We can't call it like this is too early," and now she loves it. Like for the kids, and I think Cecilia, you're second oldest, right? She or your youngest, whichever
My
you call
second
that. That's
oldest, yeah.
funny. She is the staple for Nana camping, like the rock, right? I think of camping, and she's also very savvy in camping, whether it's packing the truck or getting campsites set up and all the things. My kids are a lot younger than she is, but also enjoy helping around and kind of just being in it, right? I don't think they've ever had like that, ew, we're outside sort of thing
Mhm.
that I think a lot of maybe families get. And, let us know in the comments if you're that
Yeah.
family, if your kids are like that. My kids very much love to get dirty. I think you've taken pictures of my son camping when we haven't been there, and he's just head to toe, just dirt.
Yeah.
And I love
My
it.
my my one of my favorite pictures was he was in an enclosure, right, of dirt where he
Yeah.
had his toys and he was just dirt, right? And it's just like one of the cousins was coming over and just like visiting, it was like visiting hours.
Yeah.
And it was just great because he was like in prison, but he was happy as could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, my question to you, because I didn't take my children camping until they were a little bit older. I think
Right.
the first time we went, Madeline must have been like 7 and Cecilia 3,
Hmm.
something like that. Maybe if I'm getting my dates, mom will know the exact years. But and then once I did that, I felt good enough to, even if I couldn't go, to let mom and dad take them.
They would go. Yeah.
And so I think since 2007, I don't think Cecilia's missed a Bass Lake year.
No.
And that she was kind of trained, not by me, but by Nana. And a
Yeah.
lot of times the kids would go before me, and then like Sabrina and I might get there, and our tent might be set up already, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because put those kids to work.
Right.
But for you bringing a little baby with you camping, what are the kind of troubles, or what should people know about, to look out for and things like
Yeah.
that?
It's all this stuff. That's the thing. I think when you travel with a small baby, it's all the things that go with it. You certainly overpack the first time you do it, and then you realize, wow, we didn't need any of that. And
Mhm.
being okay with like, hey, if we didn't bring it in, off chance we do need it. If you're close to a general store, if you're close to a supermarket of some sort, like likely you can pick it up, whatever it is,
Mhm.
right? But I think overpacking all the things because you're so used to being in your at-home stations where you have a changing table. I think most people have a changing table with all the things that go along with that, and a crib and a playpen and all that sort of things. And I think with a baby, you do have to be careful. Like you can't just let them, crawl around all over the place, right? They will put everything in their mouth. Right.
Yeah.
So that is something. So like some sort of play pin that's, pretty compactable, I think is good. But you don't need a stroller, right? Some sort of,
Mhm.
carrier, ergo carrier is probably a good thing. And then if you can utilize the play pin as also the crib at night, I think kind of using both, I think that's helpful and works. And then depending on where they are in their food eating, right, whether they're being
Yeah.
breastfed versus, bottle fed, really how you strategize that formula and keeping it cold and all that stuff. That's something to consider with your ice chest and sort.
Yeah.
But if they're doing, simple foods like Cheerios and mashed potatoes and, like other like fruit and vegetables are at that point, it's pretty easy to cook for them, right? At that point, I think.
Yeah, and I think you hit a key point, at least. I mean, I don't know if we could talk a little bit more about the places you've been and how far out there you've gone, because, shout out to, what's it called?
Miller's
Miller's
Landing.
Landing. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
called Miller's. I totally forgot that it was Miller's Landing. Shout out to Miller's Landing, a little pricey. Then shout out to Oakhurst, not far if you need to go
Hmm.
pick something up from Bass Lake.
Yeah.
But have you been in more remote areas where, let's just say, you did forget something? It would be difficult. I mean, I'm talking about like an hour or two to go get something.
No, I think everywhere we've been, there's always big because it's a designated campground.
Okay.
There certainly is place to do it. Now, of course, they have hours of operation, so they aren't open 24 hours. So yeah, I
Yeah,
would
there's no
say
7-Eleven. Yeah.
yeah, I would say all of them came with that, right? So anywhere we have camped, certainly if there was an emergency, we needed something at night, we would probably have to travel an hour, probably no more than that in any one place that we've been to, maybe a couple hours at the most. So yeah, and that is, sort of the risk and sort you kind of do at getting outside. So I know camping with a small baby isn't for everyone. I think for me, the thing that I was most challenging was that when the baby cries, I felt so bad for the other campers. So it was more like that, like, oh crap, like baby's waking up in the middle of the night because we have to feed the little guy or girl, whatever. And like there's no walls, right? You're not in a hotel room where like it's muted for the other, neighbors of sorts. So you are disturbing people. So that is something as far as like if you're really self-conscious about disturbing others and inconveniencing people, like I know my wife can be. That's one thing to consider. But other than that, I think getting them out post 1 or 2 years old, two especially, because two I think is the fun age where they really are starting to get everywhere. They're not necessarily putting everything in their mouth to eat it at that point, hopefully. And that's where you really get that discovery. And I think, as you said with Cecilia at 3, I think an opportune time to fall in love with it and just be about it. Like you get to learn to be outside and things. And I think that that's cool. So like 2 or 3 years old, it's kind of fun to start that love for being outdoors. Because I don't know about you, like I tend to get pessimistic about kids and tablet time and screen time and generational, like how people are being raised. And I try not to think about it too much, but I do think about it. And I think being outdoors is a great recipe to combat that screen time. Is like
Yeah.
just get them out there and they figure it out. William, like my kids have invented games with a bunch of pine cones and sticks and rocks
Mhm.
just to keep themselves entertained. Now, Nana always brings toys for them, but it's pretty minimal. Like Lennon will have his cars. He'll play in the dirt with his cars like for hours on end. And I don't know what Dylan brings these days, but they'll find something to do and board games and all that.
Yeah, then that's was kind of I was going to get to. You kind of answered my next question. Is that how do you keep children occupied?
Yeah.
When they're out of their elements and they're not in a familiar place. That's the thing. It's just like the old joke that sending someone to their room is not a punishment, right? It's
Yeah.
that's all their stuff is there.
Right. It's all
It's
there.
spend my time in my room. But getting them outside, outdoors, playing with, like you said, pine cones. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Let the imagination run a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but one thing that I'll say is that for me, that was I was always easy, but it made it easier was the sense of the community that we have
Hmm.
where we go, right?
For
And
sure.
so and that's the thing. I never took my kids to Utah or some other place
Mhm.
with just me and them,
Yeah.
or just me, Sabrina, and the kids. We only camped one place, and we knew that there was going to be 4 families full of people,
Right.
and that we could, play past the kid, or everyone else keeps an eye on the kid. It's kind of like that old fashioned neighborhood where everyone knows each other and
Hmm. Yeah.
takes care of each other. I don't know if we still have that much anymore,
Hmm.
but we have that community at least when we go camping. So, shout
And it's
out
like, oh, the
to
kids are
the
going to go to the campground and play, that sort of
yeah.
thing. Go ahead and shout out. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I said shout out, but I list all the family names and I forget.
Got them on your water bottle still?
Yeah, I do. I do have it in the water bottle, but yeah, the smell and the not wing things, keep the Tuckers, and of course the Gamboas, McCaffreys, and everybody else, and the Winkelmans, the Paynes, the Snells, the Cordovas, the Wingtinks, the Grosses, of course, the Taylors, the Gambos, McCaffreys, and Blacks.
I'm so glad you
Shout
found it so you could read them all so we don't leave anybody out.
yeah.
All
So
very
and
inclusive.
if you guys aren't subscribing, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you didn't hear your name apparently.
Yeah. And I don't want to get too down, but is something that happened very recently is that something has kind of splintered that group,
You're
and
right.
it makes me extremely sad. And so,
Oh,
if
me
any of
too.
you are listening out there, if you are watching this, could you please mend those fences because We're throwing away 50 plus years of family, maybe not blood, over one person.
Yeah. And I think life's too short is all I'll
So
say to that
that's it.
particular topic. Yeah. Life's too short, in my opinion. I don't know
So
the ins and outs about it, but it is sad, as you said.
yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to preach.
Yeah.
Any back to it. As far as having the community and different people around, it always made it wonderful that all the kids were together. And I think I'm not gonna say I got born at the wrong time, but by the time everyone else, most of the people in our generation were born in the 80s,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Starting with our cousins, and my older brother and I were kind of like we were just too cool to hang out with the little babies.
That's exactly how I was going to phrase it. I was just going to
Yeah,
say too old, but yeah, cool.
no, we were just too cool to hang out with you little babies, but you guys had a good crew going there for a while for
I
about
think
20
so.
years or
Like
so.
I look back at it and if any of my cousins are watching, I was just so shy and so introverted in a different with a different lens. So I wouldn't say it was like opportune time. I just probably kept to myself a lot. That's just the nature of who I was as a kid. But I think you're right. It was kind of special, right? Looking back at it now, and I think what's special that I like now is my kids and their kids, right? That's what's cool. Is like, and I
Yeah.
think that's how our parents looked at the situation, and their parents
Yeah.
looked at their situation too. Now, back then, excuse me, in the '80s. So it is a lot of fun. I was going to add one more thing of kind of, or maybe two more things of like, what do kids do? What do you give them to do during? There's two other things I want to mention to our viewers. One is maybe the obvious part of the name and where we camp in Bass Lake is the lake. Like we will spend the
Mhm.
majority of our days camping at the lake, and that's just it is. We don't do a whole. I think somebody will typically rent a pontoon boat one day. People will bring kayaks, but for me, I haven't or don't do those either of those activities. I really sit on an inflatable in the lake and just hang out and talk, right? Chat,
Mhm.
relax. Some people read a book, and for kids, like they're playing in the dirt, they're playing in the water like most of the day, and they tire themselves out by the end of the night. They sleep well when they're camping, like really well. And then the other thing that we don't do at Bass Lake, but I know you and our oldest brother are going to do this year, is I like to take our kids on a hike. My wife
Mhm.
isn't always on board with that, but with where the kids are at and their feasibility of how far they can go and the distance, I just like going out and taking a hike with them, whether it's like a half-mile walk or a mile loop, something like that, something not so strenuous that I know they can do. We really enjoy doing that together and having just fun conversation and talking about being outdoors and talking about whatever's on our mind. That's what I really enjoy about camping is conversation with friends and family.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big chatter, I guess, but there is something special about putting these things away.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Putting them away and just being even if it's just quiet and people are reading books or doing crossword puzzles or something, and just sitting there or just
Yeah.
being out in the water. It's just special to get away.
Yeah.
So to get away from the technology and just chill.
Just chill. Right. Relax, reconnect, even with yourself. Think. I think
Yeah.
thinking is hugely underrated when you're outdoors.
Now, now, my question for you
Yes.
is, do you have like a bucket list of places that you want to camp?
Not necessarily camp, but just visit. I do want to visit all the national parks in the US. I don't necessarily have to camp there, but certainly want to. I would love to go camping. One, maybe a top of my list would be in the Redwoods. We've camped up in Big Sur, which is like the
Mhm.
furthest south the Redwoods get. And so in Big Sur State Park, they have some redwoods, but it's mostly I think sequoia, which are also very giant trees, but nothing compared to redwoods apparently. And so they have a couple redwoods there, and absolutely beautiful place to camp. I highly recommend Big Sur, especially in the fall. Northern California, Central California, absolutely beautiful in the fall. It's like their summer. And so I want to camp up in the redwoods in Northern California where they're more prevalent, or I don't know, there because I think they're dying. Did you know that? I think the redwoods are dying. Yeah.
I think everything's dying, Daniel, and I hate to
Yeah.
be the the pessimistic, but we've watched it at our campsite.
Yeah.
We've watched it, right? We've watched it happen. So over the years, I guess the bark beetles are coming because the winters are whatever. The birds aren't migrating in time to eat the beetles, and the beetles are eating all the trees. And I don't know. It's that part's sad. I don't want to think about it, but let's hope we can preserve our natural habitats with our
Like, look at
national
this.
forests.
What does Joshua tree looks like right here? Absolutely
Is
beautiful.
that my tree? Remember,
Not your tree. No,
I bought a
I'm in
tree.
a hotel room.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I just realized that you didn't have your German flag in the background.
Flying.
Yeah.
I should put a little fan next to that German flag so it just waves.
Well, I mean, we're not going to talk World Cup this
Yeah.
time because whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just noticed that you were not in your office when
Welcome
we
to my office.
at 21 minutes in. So anyway, to wrap it up, I just
Yes.
realized Daniel was not in his office. But here's the thing I gotta say. I'm a city person. I want to live in the city. I don't want to live in a rural area.
Yeah.
However, I do like to get away for a little bit every
Yeah.
once a year would be great to me. But normally, if I'm on vacation, I want to go someplace where they play baseball. I want to ride
Yeah.
a subway or a metro or walk through a city. I love city life. I love to visit different cities, but there is a time and place to get out there. So let us know, what are your favorite places to
Yeah.
camp? Do you hate camping? Do you love it? Do you feel the need to bring an entire truck full of stuff? Mom,
Or a backpack.
are you a minimalist or are you a maximist? Is that a word?
Minimalist, I think.
Minimalist or maximal?
Maximalist sounds fine.
Yeah, I
Sure.
don't know. It sounds like Maximus sounds like a, I don't know, Roman person. Like
Probably.
Campus Maximus sounds like the Latin term for our mom. Um,
Yeah.
she's a Campus Maximus. And anyway, anything else before we go, Daniel? Any words of
No,
wisdom?
I
Any
highly
pearls out there?
encourage it for those who either haven't tried it or tried it once, didn't like it. Try it again. Yeah, I think even if it's a day time and you don't have to camp, right? You could just be outside in nature like we've been doing with hiking earlier in the year. Yeah, it's just we have such beautiful nature. I think that reminder for me constantly is a reminder of like just how beautiful our planet is and how beautiful our space is, and that I personally don't take it for granted when I'm out in it, right? Getting
Mhm.
out of the city. And I try to not be so pessimistic about the future. But I find it enjoyable, and I find myself getting renewed energy when I'm in the mountains, when I'm on a trail, or I'm sleeping under the stars.
All right, sounds good. And
Yeah.
once again, thank you all very much. Don't forget, like, subscribe, everything, all that. Until next time, we'll see you.
Peace.